Where is it? Oh, it's happening here. Oh, just 1 second. Let me get this thing all set up. Okay. Alrighty. So we're going to do like a more somatic, gentle workout, working in, working out, hydrating tissue, getting the breath in there, moving lymphatic, but I don't think we're going to do the lymph flush. We're just going to move and take it easy, gentle, and inside. So starting with, and that's all relative, right? What I think is easy may be very different for somebody else. Inhale, reach it out and up, really get long through your whole body. And then exhale, slowly release the arms back down, bending your knees. Inhale, think of like the cat or the dog when they start to get up, like that stretch that they do. Invite that big nervous system and fascia stretch into your body, right? Where it's like an active reaching, opening, stretching, like you just woke up in the morning, bringing that in. So we're going a little deeper than just the surface flapping of the arms, but really feeling into our nervous system, which is moving around inside of our body with our movement, right? It is moving through, routed out through the fascia, traveling along with our veins and arteries. Generally, these pathways are traveling out together and traveling back, right? It's that information going out and coming back in. So let's just open up into a big X. And in the X, just reach, shifting high right, high left, just reaching into these high points, finding this diagonal through your body, right? So as you stretch out, you're reaching your foot away from your arm. We're getting this diagonal stretch. You can take the other arm down. There are exercises like this. I feel like there's like a qigong exercise where you're kind of pushing through, shifting your weight. So changing it in any way that feels good, but just feeling into that diagonal through your body. And then we're going to exhale, hollow, scoop the belly in, internally rotate, externally rotate, spiral, internally rotate, externally rotate, spiraling through the arms, turning out the legs. So the hips and the shoulder girdle are getting internal, external rotation, as well as the tissue through your legs, through your arms, through your heart and chest, through your spine. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and just relax for a second, shake it out, bounce, free up your neck, jaw, head, tongue, relax, 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 shake, shake, shake. So anything kind of crusty and holding on in there, let that shake out. Any crusty holding patterns. And we're going to change the direction. So we're going to inhale when we open into the back space and exhale as we go forward. So we're going to exhale everything out and then inhale, breathe into the back body, exhale, open up the front body. Inhale, breathe into the back of the lungs, exhale, open up the front. You can still inhale forward, as your arms go forward, exhale as your arms go back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale. 60% of our lungs is in the back space. If you even feel the way your ribs are going, here's the top of my ribs in the front, bottom of my ribs in the back. That's on a diagonal, right? Our diaphragm underneath, this big billowing sheath muscle, is working on this angle. So let's take our hands in. It's actually very warm in here today. Let's take our hands in. I was playing with this morning. Taking your hands to your ribs, feeling kind of the end of the ribs in the front, and you're just gonna, like you're kayaking, like here's your paddle going in the water there, here's your paddle on that side. So you're kayaking, but you want to get the movement into your spine. So there's head tail movement. Also get the movement into this relationship between your pelvis and your ribs. But if you just think of moving like a like a kayaker, like here's my paddle. If you had long paddles on either side, kind of this figure 80 movement, getting that movement into your rib cage, lungs, diaphragm, and even your heart. Let's just make that easier. We're just going to go tilt sideways and come up and tilt sideways, feeling with your hands the movement in the ribs, the accordion movement sort of in the ribs on one side and then the other, and letting our head go off vertical. So we're getting this movement in our spinal cord, in and around our spinal cord, and then out through the bigger bones and muscles of our body, encouraging the movement of the cerebrospinal fluid in our spine, which is nourishing our spinal cord and our nervous system and our brain, nourishing and supporting it, and then also eliminating waste. Good. And come in, let that go. Let's just hollow and curl. And then inhale, chest and lungs forward and up. Exhale, hollow, curl. Let your head and tail kind of get relaxed. So it's not like a Martha Graham, contraction. It's more gentle, soft rounding. And then inhale also. Chest, lungs, heart, forward, high. Soften and curl. Very easy. Arch and lift and exhale, soften and curl. Arch and lift. Soften and curl. Gentle. We're not forcing anything. We're not trying to like change our body drastically, other than opening it up more, not so that we're getting our massive stretchy flexibility, but that we're getting all the tissue to move a little bit. Let's do these quick spirals, looking around behind you. If you sit a lot, doing these kind of spirals is going to be great. Also, we want to make sure that we're spending some time where we're opening up the front of the hip flexors, right? I'm going to bend my knees a little bit now with the spiral, and I'm going to kind of initiate by pushing one side and then the other. So many ways you can do this spiral, and each of them is going to affect the tissue and the system just slightly differently. And when I'm talking about the tissue, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the muscle fiber, the tendon, the ligament, the fascia. Fascia, tendon, ligament are fascia. Fascia is routed through your muscles. It's the organ of form. So we're getting all of that movement in there. And then let's stop that and let's circle our pelvis. Let this move down through your feet. So you can see my toes are moving up and down. I'm shifting as if I'm shifting around the circle of my hand. Let's do, or of my foot. Let's do it with the hands as well. So your hands are imagining what your foot is doing. So we're making that connection. Change direction, other way. Hands and feet. Like if your hand was there, you're just touching around the edge of the hand in the air. Your feet are touching around the edge of the weight is shifting around the edge of your foot on the floor. Articulation in words and movement. Great. And let's let that go. Just shake it out. Let's take it down to the floor. So all the way down to the floor, onto your back. Just shut this curtain. Very sunny today. So I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she was telling me that she was talking to her nursing group. Like she went to University of British Columbia and had this group of nurses that was in her class, and they were talking, and in their meeting they were talking about what kind of exercise people do. And one of the women is actually taking a class that's teaching her how to fall. And it's something that I talk a lot to my mom about, like if you're going to fall, you want to kind of crumble down. So being able to get up and get down easily is going to make it less likely that you're going to hurt yourself if you fall. But one of the things that they said, and I'm just going to offer this right now quickly, is that if you're falling backwards, if you start to fall backwards, two things: bend your knees, round your head forward so that you can, and then think of curling and crumbling. That's what they learned. And they practice, like you could practice this on your bed, like, oh, I'm falling backwards, bend my knees, round, fall, right? You don't have to go fast. And if you're falling forwards, same thing about bending your knees, bend your knees, round, put out your forearms. You want to land with more space instead of like hitting down with your wrist. Try to land like that. All right. Just offering that to think about, because actually the reason I'm saying it is because I fell down the stairs the other day. Another friend of mine fell last weekend and broke her humerus. Another friend fell getting out of the car on ice just hurt her shoulder. Another friend fell down the stairs, chipped a tooth. So like last week was like falling week. Let's roll from side to side, really soft and easy, allowing your body to connect to the earth, connect to the foundation of the earth. And so when we practice falling, like I just have this scratch, I'm okay. Everyone else that fell, actually, my drummer fell, and she's as she puts it, she's like, I'm lucky I have a big fat ass because that protected me. That's a quote from her. So when you have more padding on your body, you can be protecting yourself. You also have more weight to fall down. So just bearing all in mind. She didn't get hurt, but the other people that fell really got hurt. So we want to start to have this relationship, pouring ourselves around the floor. As we're moving, we're increasing the integrity of our bone density, of our fascia, because we're moving, we're pouring ourselves, we're relating to gravity in this way where we're letting ourselves come into the earth. We're not fighting against it, we're releasing down. There's less tension. Yeah, so when I fell down the stairs, I knew that I could keep sliding if I didn't kind of spread myself out and stop the fall. So I just kind of collapsed and splayed. And I did fall down on a hip, and this arm, like this forearm, went squishing down the stairs. But that's the only thing that I hurt. And it's healing very nicely, so it's not a big deal. Let's take our arms and legs up into the air and just really roll across the back of the body. So the weight of our arms and legs coming down adds a little bit more loaded weight, so that the tissue underneath gets a chance to squish. Think of it like a sponge. Like as we're rolling, it's kind of readjusting the fluidity inside. So no inflammation is sticking in one place. Or let's say we have a bit of an injury. It could be like a place, maybe there's a scar tissue, or maybe there's like just a drawing together with tension in an area. We're inviting that to expand and release a little bit. Gently, gently, softly, softly, friendly, friendly. And as we're doing it, kindness to our own body, right? I could say, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I fell down the stairs. But how can I control the things that happen, right? I can't. Things happen. Mistakes happen. I got to be forgiving of what happened and accepting, oh, that's what happened. Whether I really hurt myself or whether I didn't. We can't go backwards, right? We can only start to learn about how can I protect myself a little bit going forward, but not be walking around like an armored, shield of, oh, human with so much tension, you'll never reach me. But no, you can reach me, and I can receive and bounce back off. I can be resilient. So let's go with the lower body, opening and closing. Letting that really release inner thighs as you open and as you close. Massaging out the back of your butt and your rotators, closing and opening, going slow. Really think, am I giving myself enough time to land on the ground as I move? And it might, your speed at this might be very different than mine. Am I relaxing my belly? Am I relaxing my back? Am I relaxing into the floor, or am I fighting against it? If you need more padding, just get more padding. Eventually, or maybe if you're younger, like I feel like younger tissue is more resilient. It hasn't got as much life past life experience, but and as we age, our body's going to age. That's what's going to happen, but we don't need to lose the hydration, right? So as we're moving, we're increasing that absorption of fluids that need to be reabsorbed, and also filling out fluid that needs to hydrate, lubricate the inner body. Let's take it a little deeper, just reaching one leg across. Again, slow. No huge effort here, just giving our spine this beautiful twist. Oh, it's such a beautiful twist. I don't know why I said it like that, but it is a beautiful twist. And giving your body a chance to feel into the movement. So we're not forcing it into the exercises that we need to do to be healthy, but we're feeling into what feels like, oh yeah, now I want to add my upper body to that. So I'm going to open, cross, open, and then bring the upper body in, relaxing my head into the floor, right? So there's a million ways you could do this. Getting the spiral and letting that spiral initiate the movement to close back in. Then I'm going to open the upper body, spiraling open, and my legs. Maybe your body wants to do it differently. That is fine. You are allowed to. There isn't one way. And anyone that tells you that there's one right way is holding a lot of tension, right? Because there's always a million ways. There's no one right way. All right, let's come in and let's warm up our back a little bit more. So we're going to press up, circles with your pelvis. I feel like this pelvic lift is like one of the most important things that you can do for your body if you sit a lot. Because here we are, we're pushing through, we're opening up the front of the hip flexors, we're working the back. And as you circle around, you're letting that femur head up in your ball and socket joint of your hip get a little movement, greasing up your hip socket. Letting the tissue on the outside of your greater trochanter, the top knob of your femur head, just renegotiate the relationship with all the insertions of different things that are coming into it. Then change direction, go the other way. And if all this like anatomy talk means nothing to you, that's fine. Just let it wash over and just do the circle. Focus on making a circle, pushing the floor away and then coming toward the floor. Finding a rhythm of your breath. And then come down, roll it down all the way to the floor. Let's just stay down for a second, and you're going to push with your feet a little bit, very gentle, not a huge push. You can also think of pulling, like I can pull with my heel. You can flex your foot and pull with your heel. You'll feel a little and you'll feel your hamstrings engage, or you can, if you put your hands down there. If you can't feel it, put your hands down, see if you can feel that little engage. Now let that go and see if you can stay very relaxed in your body, even the hamstrings barely engaging at all. And just, you can kind of pull with the tops of your feet pulling on the floor instead of the heel pulling so much. Tops of the feet and toes give the pull push. So there's a pull and a push. Maybe you're more pull, maybe you're more push. Just feel into that and see if you can free up your body with that. Free up that head-tail connection. Let a wave move through your spine. Again, we're really working with that cerebral spinal fluid today, helping it filter through our body, right? When we move, and also our discs between two vertebrae, right? There's a little cushy disc in there. And movement helps it reconfigure a spatial relationship to the two discs that makes sense. So you're not having a bulging disc or something's not grossly out of whack. We give our body a chance to reabsorb what needs to be reabsorbed, renegotiate the inner space. Relax your neck and jaw. Let your mouth just for a minute hang open, like droopy voice, droopy jaw. Tongue is very heavy. Ugh, relax. And then let that go. Just now for a second, rest in stillness and see if you can feel the sort of echo of that wave movement in your body, right? We're trying to develop a deeper sensing in our body, deeper awareness of sensation. Let's do something crossbody here. So we're going to open up into an X. We did that crossbody reach in the very beginning where we were reaching the diagonal. So just try that. Just like bend in a little and then lengthen out one diagonal. Bend in and lengthen out the other diagonal. So we're finding this relationship contralateral across our body. The relationship is across our body. If we narrow it in, then we're crossing our body. So that's also contralateral, right? Cross-lateral because we're relating this opposite diagonal from one side to the other. And contralateral where we actually do cross midline, crossing midline. So try that as well. We've already done some crossing of midline when we were spiraling, but what happens if you reach across? And feel what your head wants to do and how your foot, like my foot wants to flex going out there. I had this really funny dream last night that I was choreographing this show, and I had invited 6 dancers to the rehearsal. And it was in this like dance space that had another dance space right next. It was this huge center, and all the walls were glass. So the sound was traveling, people were coming and going. It was a total chaos. I had tons of people in my rehearsal thinking they're coming to dance class. They didn't know what they were doing. It was hilarious. And I was like, well, let's try this. Anyway, let's circle our arms, circling down and then opening up, right? All this kind of circling movement, great for your body. And as I'm doing that, I'm looking down. My feet are still wide. And then I'm going to change direction. Exhale. Inhale. Reaching through those legs. Exhale up. Reach, reach, reach. Reaching through the arms and the legs. Getting that kitty cat stretch. Exhale. Inhale. Active exhale out your mouth. In through your nose. Last one. And relax. Again, melt into the floor, maybe jiggle out, or take a second to feel the resonance of the movement you just did, right? Can you still feel that echo? Can you still feel sort of energy of that movement? And we're going to do another thing here. Elbow to knee, take it down, slide it out, bend your knee, reach it out. So yeah, I've been saying this a lot, like when people, but maybe I haven't said it in here. When people, like if I'm teaching at a gym or something and people go, what's that supposed to be working? I don't feel anything. And then like, that's exactly the problem. You've armored yourself so much you can't feel anything. You don't know what's going on in there. So we want to take that away and start to actually feel our body. And it might be that like, oh, body's not a safe place. There's a lot of like trauma associated with it. Maybe you have, and we all have a lot of messaging about what we're supposed to look like, how to do it right, all those things. Think of listening to your knee with your ear. Yeah, we've all taken in the cultural beliefs about what body is the right body, how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to act, how to sit still, how to be quiet. Anyway, so let's let go of some of that, let that crust off and start to really feel what's going on. And it might be that in order to feel your body, you want to do really kind things to your body. Like, I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to go to the hot springs. I'm going to lay in the sun. I'm going to feel the breeze on my skin, things that are pleasurable. So we're not like, I'm going to do this thing and force it to happen. That is not the way. We're going to let go of the tension and the discomfort in our psyche about our body and start to go, what does it really feel like to have this body? All right, let's open the feet wide and just internally rotate one leg at a time, spiraling in, twisting in, lovely spiral, a beautiful spiral, lovely spiral through your body. And just feel like when I get down there, I can then spiral more, really turning in, or I can think of lengthening my knee down and away. So I can rotate more or lengthen more, rotate, lengthen. It's kind of subtle, but it's like I spiral a little bit more. Now I pull my knee away from me, spiral a little bit more, pull the knee down. And both of them have a different effect on the tissue. All right, let's pick up our butts and just shake it, shake it, shake it. Jiggle your gut body. Let it be like Jello. I don't know if you've seen much Middle Eastern dance, but you want it to shake. It's not like, it's like, oh, free it up, free up your belly, free up your butt. Let your spine realign itself. And let's try this. We're going to roll to one side. One knee is forward, one knee is back, and you're going to push the floor away to come up. And then you're going to take it back down to the floor and roll to the other side. Push the floor away to come up. Take it back down. So this hand, the hand of the side that's close to the floor, is going under. The other hand, I come to the other side. I'm pushing to come up, and then this hand slides under, and I support myself to come back down. Right? Pushing up, coming down into the floor. And again, I'm letting myself kind of crumbling into the floor, spreading and rolling. Like spreading the tissue out to support the fall. So I'm not fighting against the floor. And we're really just coming down, rolling across. Last one. This is going to come all the way across and we'll keep coming up. And we'll take our legs out and we will just roll across your butt from side to side. So this is to massage out your glutes, your rotators, piriformis. If you're having sciatica, you probably want to get some movement in all of that tissue. And this is one way. So we're rolling from side to side, a little mobility side to side. Let's roll. You're going to come up, pelvis comes forward, you come into a little side stretch, and butt goes to the floor. Roll to the other side. Come up into a little arch, opening the front of the hip flexors as we go up. Oh, again, feel that stretch, reach it out. Then around to the other side. And we want to do it enough that we start to feel that there's some flow happening here. Good. And now we're going to change it. We're going to, instead, you can circle your arm up and you're going to take it down to the floor. Surrender to the floor, surrender to the earth. Open up, big arch, arm radiating away from center. It comes down. We release into the floor. Push the floor away. Open, open. And take it down. Pushing the floor away. Open, open. So all this time I'm massaging the outside of my butt, my greater trochanter, a little bit over my IT band as I'm here. And I'm getting this movement through my spine where I'm spiraling, but I'm also curling. And then a little arch on top. Last one. Good. And let's come onto all fours. And we're going to do theta breath. And I'm going to take off this noise cancellation. There we go. So that you can probably hear the whole breath. So from here, I'm going to do a soft hiss exhale. I'm going to free up my spine. So it could be that like you could kind of start with a cat-cow, but then see if you can start to initiate the movement from one direction down to the other direction. So you're not spiraling, you're curling, rolling it up like a wave forward and then a wave backward. And then you can also go totally rogue, free flow, and just let your body move, trying to move in different ways. If it hurts to be up there, come down to your forearms. If your wrists hurt, here we go. Theta breath, soft hiss, gentle. Explore as if you've never been in there before. You don't know what it's like to have a body. What can this thing do? What's happening here? Where is my weight? What's possible? And relax tension when you find it. Like you don't need to be sucking it all in and making it perfect. Let it be exploratory. Play in your body as if you don't know what it's like to be in a body. You can also take this up to a downward dog. So any way to be in this quadruped is totally acceptable here. Like free the flow, find ways of moving, or down here, I've got that injury, so I can't really be on my forearms, but I love forearms. It's one of my favorite places to be down there. If I do come up to downward dog, then I have this extra relationship down into my feet, into my toes, into my hands, right? Hips, shoulders, head, tail, all of this stuff can really become interesting to play with. Let's let that go. Just rest for a second. Again, give yourself a couple of breaths to feel the echo of the movement you just did, right? Feel, oh, something's really come online, or, oh, like my wrists, since I was on my hands the whole time, my wrists are kind of like, oh, let me free up a little bit, right? If I listen, I take the time to go, what does that feel like now? Then this stuff starts to come online, right? We're building that neurodiversity by doing novel movement and by listening to it and not just tuning out and paying attention to 6,000 other things, right? So try to stay present with yourself. Let's take it all the way down to our stomachs, belly, easy, relaxing, just rolling your butt from side to side, letting your legs fall, relax your feet. Check out the floor. If it stresses you out, maybe you need to vacuum. Just kidding. If it stresses you out, let go of that. Circles around and just be present again in your body. So just start to notice like what pops you out of being present with yourself. Like, oh, I gotta do this thing. Okay, let that go. Let that sit aside for a while and come back into sensation. I'm circling my legs. I've gone one way, going the other way. This is massaging the front of my quads. Again, if you sit a lot, this is great. If you ski, this is great. If you ride a bike, this is great. If you have a human body, this is great. All right, from here, let's try rolling. Stick our hands next to our chest and just bend one knee, reach back, see if you can touch your toes to the floor, and then bring it back in. Bend your knee, reach back, and bring it back in. Bend your knee. You can push with your arms. You can come up as much as you want to. You could also just stay down. We're just, again, moving, mobilizing. If you feel like this is going well, you could try pushing yourself up. Push it up, right? A very gentle push up with the arms and landing into the floor. If you feel like it, you don't have to, it's just an option. And if you have boobs, this might be painful. I don't know about other genitalia. If you had for dudes, it might be something also. So do what you got to do to protect yourself. Let's take our, let's come to a forearm. So my forearm, I'm popping it up a little because I got that bruise and scrape on that side. I'm just going to circle my head. Let this circle be not like, oh, I'm going to get the biggest workout, but I'm just moving it around, more exploratory movement with the head. Change direction. See what your shoulders feel like doing. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue, getting some spinal movement. And relax it, calm down. Let's just inhale, lifting up, and then exhale, coming down. Doesn't have to be your highest lift. Exploratory. This is an upper versus lower pattern, right? We're going upper body and then coming back down. I'm going to come up and I'm actually just going to bend and hang out there for a second. You can keep going up and down. You can bend or not with the legs. I feel like that just feels really good. It didn't used to, it does now. Coming all the way up, take it into a child's pose. Relax and let go. And just turn your head from one side to the other, looking under one armpit, looking under the other. Relax, roly body, roly-poly body. Let's walk the hands over to one direction. Breathe into it. Wake up the fingers. You can push around with the arms. Take it over to the other side. Wake up the fingers. Wiggle around in there. Bring it back. Let's come back up. Let's just do opposite arm to leg. No, yes. Let's do opposite arm to leg. You're going to reach it out, but from there you're going to explore the space. What can it do? How, if you start to fall over, put your hand down, put your leg down, do whatever you got to do, but explore what can happen here in this contralateral pattern so that you're freeing up your brain by doing something new. You're freeing up your body by doing something new. Body mind exploration. Oh, I can touch it. I can reach into the back. I can reach into the front. Change it to the other side, other diagonal, opposite arm to leg. Play with that. What is possible? What feels good? What feels curious? And let that go and come down. You could spend a lot of time with that, just playing with that diagonal. But let's take it down onto our backs. Release into the floor. So I'm doing this class today with sort of more of a somatic lean that we're really feeling into it. And it's not the most like, I'm going to power through. It's more like I'm going to deepen my relationship to my body. Let's take a happy baby, wiggling around. If it's a scary place to be in your body, find gentle, friendly ways to be in there. Be kind to yourself. Be kind in your self-talk. A lot of people have like echoes in their heads of people telling them things. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's a teacher, things that are bad and things that are good. So we want to kind of let those aren't the truth. Those are just something somebody said. Take your hands on your knees, circles, relaxing your lower back. So if you have those echoes of your things people have said to you about your body, might be good to kind of excavate, write them out, burn it, let it go. I don't know. I don't know what your practices are, but start to release the power that other people have held on you by telling you who you should be or how you should be in your body. And really, like, The Artist's Way is a great book. That book by, I think her name is Judith Cameron. It's a way of like going in and seeing what's the messaging that stopped me from being creative. But you can do the same thing with your body. Like, what is the messaging that made you think you had to be a certain way? And if you look at it, write it down, say where it came from, and then you can throw it in the fire, burn it, get rid of it. It's not serving you. Let's just stretch long again, reach one side longer and then the other. It's worth doing this stuff because it's your body and this is the main ingredient. You and your body mind are going to participate in your life the whole time together. It's never going to be separate. You're never going to be in a different body unless, Elon Musk figures something out or whoever, like not Elon Musk, but somebody of like, oh, now I'm in this other body. If you were in a different body, it wouldn't be you anymore, right? So much of how we are is how we feel in our body. Like, oh yeah, I know this is me. I look at my toe, that's my toe, right? If we took our brain and stuck it somewhere else, minus the heart, minus the guts, minus the body, it would not be us. Let's take it forward in this cross-legged position. You can take one foot right in front of the other or like this, either way. Take it down, shift from side to side. Free up your lower back, breathe into it. Even having an out-of-body experience, you need a body. You don't do that without the body. And coming up. So as long as we're alive, anything you do for this relationship with yourself is putting money in the bank. It's investment in who you are and how you are and what it feels like to be in the world. So it's super worthwhile. Take it down the other side. You are worth it. Your relationship to yourself is worth it. Your relationship to your body is worth it. And like as we're in these bodies for the rest of our lives, the more healthily we can do it, the better it's going to feel. Like get up, take the morning walk, get the sun, drink water, and ideally healthy water. Let's slide our feet in, take our butt up to the ceiling, shift from side to side. Easy and loose. So what is healthy water? That is a good question. Filtered water, maybe water that hasn't been sitting in plastic for a long time. Maybe water that doesn't have fluoride. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I just play one on the internet. Just kidding. Let's inhale, open, reach it out and up. Now, bringing your hands down like rain, like fingers, waking up the fingers, bringing it down. Inhale, open. Let's keep the fingers moving. And then like rain fingers, gentle rain fingers coming down. And rain fingers going up, opening, 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 and then coming down. Then we're going to change it, like shaking, jazz hands going up, keep them open, jazz hands going down, jazz hands going up, much more alive and vibrant, right? Jazz hands up and jazz hands down. Just feeling that difference. Like, what is it like to have like the gentle rain fingers compared to the jazz hands. We want to notice these things and see, today I like this one, tomorrow I like that one. Staying present with yourself, being engaging with your experience in a way that is not objectifying it, but really noticing what's going on. All right, that is it, TV Land people. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the things. Write me a note, comment. I generally respond to those.